So transport layer is the fourth unit or the fourth layer in uh, your OSI model, and it is playing a very important role as we discussed in first unit, that is related with the data communication, that the transport layer is responsible for process to process control. Okay, then the second its function is most of the time it it is used for synchronization, segmentation and reassembly, error control at process level. So these are the functions of transport layer. So at the end of this unit, when we go this, what are the objectives of this chapter, or what are the objectives of chapter outcomes, you'll be able to understand what is the TCP IP model, and you'll be able to differentiate it with OSI reference model. The second thing is that you will come across the various different protocols that are related with the TCP IP. Okay, now we are going to discuss in detail what do you mean by TCP IP protocol suite. So the TCP IP protocol suite is does not exactly match with OSI model. This is already we have seen, but once again we are going to revise it. The original TCP IP model was designed having only 4 layers. So first one is host to network, internet, transport and application. In many cases, host to network is again divided into physical and data link layer. So many times it is represented as a 5 layers also. So host to network is divided into physical and data link layer, internet, transport and application. So many authors represent, or many people represents TCP IP as a 5 layer, but here in this case we will be considering it as a 4 layer. However, whenever TCP IP is compared with OSI, we can say that TCP IP protocol is made up of 5 layers, as I said: physical, data link, then network, transport and application. So when you are comparing it with OSI model, at that time only we will be considering it as a 5 layer. So will be this is how the difference between the two networks. So OSI, as I said, APST New Delhi. So APST New Delhi पोचली. So this is what I have said. So AP, application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link and physical layers. So these are the 7 layers in OSI model, whereas these are the 4 layers in TCP IP conceptual layers. So this is host to network, which is the combination of physical layer and data link layer. So if I combine these two over here, so then it becomes a 5. So here it is a network, here it is a internet networking. Then transport layer remains as it is, and these last 3, that is a layer 5, 6 and 7 in OSI model, is combined together in TCP IP as a application layer. Now you can see the different types of protocols that are defined under this TCP IP model as well as OSI. So physical and data link, so protocols defined by under this host to network are just like a physical and data link layers. Then network layer, we have already seen that is related with OSI model, and in TCP IP we will call it as an internet layer, and that internet layer consists 5 types of protocols. First one is ICMP, IGMP, IP, ARP and RARP. So what are those? We are going to see just now. So these are the protocols associated with this internet protocol. So IP, we are very familiar with what is the IP address and what is that. So this is nothing but an internet protocol. So it has 2 versions: internet protocol 4 and internet protocol 6 version 6. In transport layer, again there are 3 types of protocols are there. UDP, TCP and SCTP. So most of the protocols used are TCP and UDP. So the most famous that is combined with IP is TCP. That's why the suite is mostly known as TCP/IP. And in last layer, that is the application layer, there are various protocols that we are familiar with. So SMTP, then FTP, HTTP, DNS, SNMP, Telnet. So all these are the protocols we are familiar with this application layer, and that we are going to see in upcoming chapters. So this is how the TCP/IP and OSI model we can compare it with the help of protocols. So at transport layer, we are discussing the transport layer with TCP/IP. So hence we'll be considering at transport layer there are three protocols. First one is the transmission control protocol. The most its short form is TCP. Then user data protocol, UDP. Then stream control transmission protocol, that is SCTP. And at network layer, internetworking protocol or internet protocol, that is mostly known as IP. So these are the protocols we are supposed to study in this chapter. So physical link, layer and data link layer, which is also known as host to network layer in TCP/IP. So at physical and data link, TCP/IP does not define any specific protocol. So it supports all the standards and proprietary protocols that are already defined by OSI. So a network in TCP/IP internetwork can be a local area network or can be a wide area network. Or in network layer, what we are going to define at network layer, TCP/IP supports the internetworking protocol, that is IP in turns, and it uses again the supporting protocols which are used to solve the various controlling problems and address resolution problems. So for that purpose, ARP, RARP, ICMP and IGMP protocols are there. What are those? We are going to study it in details afterwards. So internet protocol, the internet protocol is it defines the official packet format, and protocol is called as a IP. It is unreliable and connectionless protocol which is used for a best effort delivery service. The term best effort means that IP provides no error checking and tracking system. So there is no error and checking in IP. It simply transmits it, and it is trying to have a connectionless protocol. So connectionless and connection oriented in a sense. So now whatever may be the line is there, that means you are in my classroom, so you are connected right now and I am directly transmitting the information to you. But instead of that, if I upload my video on network and simply I provide you the link, so whenever you get a time, you download it and you watch it. So this is a connectionless. But now from 9:30 to 10:30, exactly we are in this online classroom and we are listening to, you are listening to my lecture. So there is a connection between you and me. And offline connection, that is a connectionless, means I simply send a protocol or I simply upload the video and I ask you to go through the video as and when you are able to watch it. So this is a connectionless protocol. So it is unreliable. So reliability is, in this case, is that when it is a connection oriented, it is the reliable because I can watch you, I can see you that you are in this class. But in connectionless, I don't know whether you have seen that lecture or not unless and until you upvote me. Okay. So this is how you can understand it. It is reliable and unreliable. So IP transport data packets, it's called as a datagrams, and each of which is transported separately. So each datagram follows a different route. That's why it is unreliable. If any datagram get lost, then in that case there is a mechanism which will taken care by this transport control TCP. That's why TCP and IP comes together to have a reliable transmission. Then the next protocol related with the IP is address resolution protocol. So you have a physical address, and whenever the internet is there, we need to resolve the problem related with the logical address. So we need to map the logical address to the physical address. So this is what it is called as a ARP. And at receiving end, exactly you have to do the discover, the host has to discover its internet address when the physical address is known to it. So next, the internet control message protocol is a mechanism used by the host and gateways to send the notification of datagram problems back to the sender. So there are some queries and error reporting message are generated. So these messages are, so most of the time you are whenever you are browsing, then you will be getting the message of 404. 404 means server is not found, or the service is not available. That type of message you are getting on your web browse. So such kind of messages are taken care by this ICMP. And IGMP, it is a group message control protocol used to facilitate the simultaneous transmission of a message to a group recipients. So in case of if it is a broadcasting type of message, then in that case the IGMP will take care of all the transmission. Then at transport layer, there are two protocols that we are supposed to study. First one is the TCP and second one is the UDP. So IP is the host to host protocol that is used to deliver the packet from one physical device to another, and UDP and TCP are the transport level protocols responsible for delivery of the message from process to process. This is what the difference is. So IP is responsible from host to host delivery, and UDP and TCP is responsible for process to process delivery. So transmission control protocol is very important. So transmission control protocols provides you a full transport layer services to the applications. That means whatever maybe the application layer is expecting, so the transport layer will take care of all the applications, so all the services to the application layers. Then TCP is reliable stream. See, you can see that IP is unreliable and TCP is reliable. So when you combine it, obviously will be get a reliable stream of transport protocol, and it is a connection oriented. So it establishes the connection between the both ends so that you can transmit the data. So TCP provides a stream of data into a smaller unit called as a segments, and these segments are sent to the next, and that are segments are carried out in the internet inside the IP datagram. So the packets, so segments are converted into packets which are known as datagrams, and these datagrams are sent over the network. And at the receiving end, whenever all the packets comes, so it comes with numbers. So packet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So TCP will collect all the datagrams, reorders, because every route is taking a different place. Now the best example of this one. So let us consider that you are sitting in a class. We'll be discussing afterwards. Again, I am going to repeat the same type of. So you have a roll numbers, and if I ask you that from your class you have to move to auditorium, or you have to move to one place, from one place to other place. Now what happens in such cases when you move in a roll number under the supervision of your faculty, then roll number 1 starts and roll number 60. Let us consider that there are 60 students in a class, and all the 60 students, they move in a roll number, and they will move from one place to other place, and all the roads in between are blocked. So that means a connection is established between place 1 and place 2, so that all the 60 packets will be moved from one place to other place. So is there any possibility that any packet or any student will move from that line? So there is a very less possibility. So it is called as a connection oriented. It is called as a connection oriented. And what happens? So at receiving end, all the 60 packets are received in a sequence. So it is a reliable type of connection. So at the receiving end, the faculty over there will come to know that okay, all the 60 students are in a class, all the packets are received. Now the situation is second, that is the datagram situation. Let us consider that again the situation is that you have to move from place 1 to place 2, and it is said that within 5 minutes you have to assemble in room number 2. Within 5 minutes you have to assemble in room number 2. Now what happens? Every student will take his own path. Every student will take his own path. Some may go to urine for bladder break. Some may go for other purpose. Some may take for a break for a canteen. Some may go for a break for water, and some may chit chat on a lobby itself, right? So after 5 minutes, when the second faculty in a classroom number 2, she or he will try to collect all the information, what will happen? As and when every packet comes in, the faculty marks the number. Okay, roll number 60 comes first, so the faculty marks roll number 60. Got it? That means every packet is coming by his own way, by moving through the other routes, right? And it get reassembled in the room number 2. But in previous case, all the 60 packets came in a line, and it is a reliable one. Now there is every possibility that roll number 50 may get lost. He may not appear in room number 2. He might be sitting in a canteen, right? So the faculty will mark him absent, and faculty 2 will inform faculty 1, okay, roll number 50 is absent. So faculty 1 will look for roll number 50, and he will find that student and he will send it to room number 2, isn't it? And it is happening, and you are observing it also. So this is how the internet protocol works. That is called as a datagram. And TCP will try to connect all the datagrams. Okay, all the datagrams are received. Then roll number 1 to 60. Okay, it will try to reassemble it together, and it will try to find out which is the missing, and if something is missing, it will re-inform to the user, the transmitter, that this one is missing. So this is how the TCP/IP works together to have a host to host and process to process delivery with reliability, with connection and connectionless type of transmission. Then the second protocol is user datagram protocol. So user datagram protocol is simpler than the TCP/IP protocol. It is also responsible for process to process delivery, that adds only port address, checksum control, and the length of the information to the data from the upper layer. So as compared to TCP/IP, the UDP is quite simpler. And the last layer related to TCP/IP suite is application layer. So this application layer in TCP/IP is equivalent to the combined session of session, presentation and application layers, and it consists many protocols that are defined by the OSI models. Okay. So here you can see that the addresses in TCP/IP. There are physical addresses, there are logical addresses, there are port addresses, and there are specific addresses. So these addresses are associated with that one. So in TCP/IP, as and when we'll move forward, we will understand what do you mean by physical address, what do you mean by logical address, what do you mean by port address, and what do you mean by specific address. Okay, so we'll be discussing it. So specifically, if you go for a specific address, it is associated with a application layer. So the best example is your email. So whatever may be the xyz@gmail.com. So that is a specific address where all the mails related to that will come to that email address only. So this is a specific address. Then at TCP layer there is a port address. So this port address will be understood as and when we'll proceed further. So network layer, then this is related with the logical address. So we call it as a IP address. So IP address is a logical address. And physical layer and data link layer, that is associated with the host and network layer. So physical address is there. So every device is having its own unique physical address. Every device is having its own unique physical address. So we call it as a MAC address. So this MAC address is associated with all the devices which are using these application or TCP/IP suite. So this physical address is there, and that physical address gives you the information about the who is the manufacturer, what is the information about the device and address of that physical device. And that is a unique one, and unique one in a sense your mobile is having a unique MAC address. So that address is not duplicated across the globe. So it is a unique one. So it has certain meaning. So you just find out what you just go through your mobile, just try to find out what is the physical address of your mobile, and what you do, you simply put it on a group. Sir, this is my mobile address, this is my mobile address, this is my mobile address, so that let me come to know that whether you have understood it or not. Okay, now we will see the difference between two units, OSI and TCP/IP. So we can differentiate it on the basis of layers. So OSI consists 2 and TCP/IP consists 4, or if I consider it as a data link and physical as a separate, then in that case 5. Then central idea related to OSI, it is based on the services, interface and protocols, and TCP/IP does not clearly distinguish between the services, interface and protocol, because TCP/IP comes together. It does not distinguish TCP separately and IP separately, it comes together. So there is no specific clear distinguish between the two services. Then third one is the protocol. So model is independent, so you can develop the protocols independently, but here in this case TCP/IP, it is a dependent type. So model does not didn't find any other protocol stack, so it has its own, so dependency is there in TCP/IP. So communication at network layer, it supports both connectionless as well as connection oriented communication, whereas in TCP/IP the network layer only supports connectionless. Then communication at transport layer, in OSI model it is only connection oriented communication, whereas in TCP/IP it both supports connectionless as well as connection oriented communication. And in OSI model, the physical layer and data link layer are separate one, so you can distinguish between OSI physical layer and data link layer, whereas in TCP/IP you cannot distinguish it because it is combined together. So host to network layer we call it as a. So this is how the TCP/IP suite and OSI and TCP/IP we can differentiate it. We'll stop here. We'll go for a next protocol TCP/IP in next lecture.